Yo, peace was good. You read the title. You guys know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the whole Mase and Cam'ron beef that happened a couple days ago. Alright? What started this whole thing was because about 4 days ago, the day after Thanksgiving, which was November 24th, 2017, Mase had dropped a song called The Oracle. He made a song called The Oracle. And that song was a diss towards Camron. Mace's reasoning for dropping the song was because Camron, he had dropped a mixtape I think about 2 weeks ago called Program. Very dope. And there was a line in the song called A Killer where he disses Mace saying, I have it up like right in front of me, where he says, got this nigga home, he passed me $100, told him straight up I ain't feeling him, let me curve this nigga before I end up killing him. That's Camron talked about Mace. So Mace felt some type of way about that. So that's why he dropped the song The Oracle. And let me tell you, that song, killed Camron. Killed Camron. Killed him. I mean, it's Murder Mase. Murder Mase from Children of the Corn. Murder Mase was on that record. That shit was so dope. My only gripe with that record was the fact that he used the industry instrumental. Like, he used Jay-Z's Blueprint 2 song, the instrumental to that song, off the Blueprint 2 album, that the Gift and the Curse album that Jay-Z put out, which was horrible. But anyways, yeah, I'm getting off track. But again, yo, Mase, he murdered that dude, man. Just, he goes in on that. And so I think maybe a day or 2 days later, Cam'ron had dropped Dinner Time. That was the response to Mace's Oracle. So Cam'ron, dropped it. It has some funny parts. He has some, like, some, I guess, questionable, lyrics, saying, like, how, Diddy fucked him, and that he had dildos in his possession and stuff like that. And he actually taunted that he fucked Mace's twin sister, Stoute, back in the days and stuff like that. Even went on, like, Instagram, like on live Instagram, where he said that, I fucked, Mace's sister, I made a squirt and all this stuff, like, saying, like, oh, I fucked her back in, like, 1995, 1996, and, I never thought that was possible. I never saw anything like that. Now that's a trend, da-da-da-da. Just all this shit. And so, I think the next day, or like that same time, Mace's sister Stoute had responded to Cam'ron that, no, we never had sex. Keep on dreaming. This all this shit and stuff like that. And this is not the first time that Mase and Cam'ron had beef, because at the time, like around the late '90s, they had kind of like a falling out, and it was due to, like, I think, like, street shit. You know what I mean? I think that's what it was too. And Mase, around 1999, before him dropping his second album, the Double Up album, was renouncing that he was going to retire from rap because he didn't like the direction that he had his music going for other people, like for his fans. Like, he didn't like the content he was spitting on his albums and stuff like that. He just felt like it was very negative and stuff like that. And I could respect that. And then after that, he dropped the Double Up album, and he ended up, he found God, and then he moved down south. He went to college out there in Georgia. I think he moved to Georgia and stuff like that. But a lot of street sources are saying that the reason why he left New York is because he had beef with some street cats, which I'm not gonna mention names. I'll put you guys can look it up, but he had beef with some cats from the streets and stuff like that. and because of that, that's what made him running out. Like pretty much, the street cats in Harlem ran Mase out of New York, and then that's why he moved down south, and then that's when he came back. I think 5 years later he came out the Welcome Back album, which was horrendous. But with this beef, I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad it finally happened. I know some people are saying that, oh, it should have came out, back in 2007, 2006. But my thing is, this, like I said, this is great for hip hop. And you got two dope lyrical MCs. Even though Camron can spit, but I just don't like the shit that he's doing now. But I got used to it now. The computer Putin shit, it took some time to get used to. Although I did like the shit that Camron did, in the Dipset era, from like 2002 to like 2005, you know what I mean? Like, those Dipset mixtapes are classics, bonafide classics. I love them shits. I mean, grew up, nigga in high school listening to them shits. Besides 50 making noise, but it was just something about Dipset where they brought something new to the table. Them sampling like, 70s sitcom theme songs and stuff like that. Classic, 70s 40 top 40 songs from the 70s. They sampling that stuff, and just bringing a hip hop twist to it. And then like it really made them, bring a different sound to New York, especially around that time. Now with Camron's song, it was okay, but it didn't really hit hard. It just felt a little juvenile. But my only thing with with the song Dinner Time, what I like over Mace's Oracle, is the fact that he used the original production. Like, he went back to his roots, to his Dipset roots, and he got with Heatmakers or arsonists and from Heatmakers, and then they banged out Dinner Time. I just wish that Mase would have gotten with a producer, had his own shit, and it would have been a lot dope. But I like I said, Mase fucking killed that shit. He because of that, I got like a new respect and appreciation for Mase. And by all means, doesn't make me the biggest. And mind you, I'm not the biggest Mase fan, but like I said, I have a whole different new respect for him. And as you can see, you hear in the background, I'm a Camron fan. I'm a fan of Camron's old stuff. The Confessors of Fire album, the SDE album, which was my introduction to Camron back in 2000. His first two albums, classics. Hood classics, I should say. But anyways, and then I think maybe like a couple of days ago, yesterday, I went on YouTube, checked on Hot 97, and so they had the Mase interview. It was like Ebro, Rosenberg, and Laurel Styles, Ebro in the morning, and they interviewed Mase, but it was over the phone. And like I said, everything I'll post on in the description box, so you guys can check it out. So now, pretty much Ebro, being a troll that he is you can tell he's very biased, and not just Ebro, but all of New York are biased towards Mase. You can tell, he's just saying how, just pretty much siding with Camron, but then they trying to make an excuse oh, Camron doesn't even like us. We don't even know the last time that he came on Hot 97 to do an interview. He doesn't fuck with us. But just some of the shit that he was saying was, just very ignorant, which is no surprise from Ebro. Just saying, stupid shit like how, oh, that's it. You usually make this one song, you're gonna disappear again. Just like how you usually do. And then, Mase kind of put Ebro in his place, yo, dude, that's a problem. You guys have been programmed by Camron to believe that, all the stuff that he said about me, you guys believe that it's actual facts. And then he's trying to explain himself, to them, but it's a kind of, you could tell, they ain't trying to hear that because they on, Camron's dick and shit like that. And like I said, I'm a Camron fan, but Camron's always been a troll. And then, Ebro had the nerve to say, oh, you mad, trying to mock Camron when Camron went to Bill O'Reilly back in 2004 Dame Dash when he was mocking Bill O'Reilly. Oh, you mad? You mad? So he tried pulling that shit with Mase, but Mase put him back in his place. And then they were talking about the whole pastor reference where he talked about, yeah, but how you gonna be? And which a lot of people are doing. I see a lot on social media saying, yo, how's thinking Mase be Murder Mase, but then you're a pastor? And Mase was pretty much saying like, yo, I'm a street nigga that went to church. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I never heard Mase talk like that before, because he's always seemed like a, humble dude in interviews and stuff like that. But like, there was some fire that he let out some fire, and that's all I have to say. And I'm glad that Mase put him in his place and stuff like that. And getting to the whole reference, the pastor reference, people always want to knock Mase for being a pastor. But yet they don't talk shit about Rick Ross. They forgive Rick Ross for being a CEO, but they don't forgive Mase being a pastor. I'm like, these cats are human beings. Like, yo, okay, you give Rick Ross a pass, give Mase a pass. You know what I'm saying? It's the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Even though different professions, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, man. Like I said, all that stuff I'll post down in the description box. And man, like I said. And like I said too, like even Mase was saying like, yo, even though they squashed the beef and stuff like that, they're still not cool with each other. That's what Mase said himself. So like I said, I'll post it down in the description box. And I said, like I said, I felt like Mase won the battle. He won that shit, he beat that. But again, a lot of people are gonna go with Camron because of he's more popular. You know what I'm saying? It's because, and that's one thing I hate about hip-hop fans, is that they're very superficial. And what I mean by that is like, they'll go by people who has more money, who has more popular, who has more sales and stuff like that, and want to side with them because of their status. You know what I'm saying? But they don't realize that Mase at one point had the status that Camron has now. You know what I'm saying? Because yes, Camron had a better career than Mase, but Mase opened the doors for a lot of people, and him and Puffy are the reason why we have radio rap. Like the shit that you hear now, or the songs that you hear 20 times a day and all that shit. To me, Bad Boy Records was responsible for all that. Bringing all that commercial sounding music and stuff like that. They, to me, were responsible for radio rap. Bar none. That's just my opinion. And believe it or not, Mase is very influential. Don't believe me? Fab. Perfect example. Even though Fab came out back in the late 90s, around 98, when he first appeared on DJ Clue's The Professional album, I always feel like Fab was the 21st century version of Mase. Because the shit that Mase was doing, Fab is doing now. But I know most Fab heads would not agree with me with that, would try to be in denial. But if you listen to Mase's first album, Harlem World, it's just even like some of the stuff that he did in the late 90s, and you listen to some of Fab's stuff, they kind of go head to head. They're kind of like similar, very similar. Yeah, that's my only thing with that. And that's pretty much my take on that. And I'm going to do another video. And I would do it on... You know what? Let me do on this video too. That's it on the Mase and Cam'ron versus Camron. Now I'm going to talk about this nigga Steve Stoute. Where do I begin? Steve Stoute, for those who don't know, Steve Stoute, he's a hip-hop mogul in the likes of P. Diddy, Russell Simmons, people like that, Clive Davis, L.A. Reid, Kevin Liles, Leo Cohen, that in that whole scheme of things. Steve Stoute at one point used to be Nas's manager back in the 90s. He was manager for, the Firm, Cormega at one point. For a very short time. And the reason I bring up Steve Stoute is because he was in an interview with Drink Champs, Nori's podcast that he has down with Miami with DJ EFN in Miami, and this nigga said some real disrespectful shit to several artists. That's why I'm bringing this up, and I had to write these down because the name of the artist that he named that he just pretty much shut it on. First person he mentioned was AZ. He was saying pretty much how AZ doesn't have the talent to succeed. He didn't, like, when he first came out, he didn't have the talent to be successful, like, in that climate. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, he doesn't have the talent? Like, are you kidding me? Dude is one of the most illest lyricists, dude. Yeah, he has like a monotone, flow, but, and he's an acquired taste, but he's just so smooth with it, man. And he was just saying like how, like he was pretty much saying that he was whack and like how he wanted to make a whole bunch of Sugar Hills and all that kind of like real disrespectful, man. But that's who he is, man. He's like a smooth cat. He's not known to be an aggressive dude. Like, yeah, he has spit over the aggressive tracks, but that's not really AZ. AZ's like the more smooth brother, not pimped out, but like the smooth delivery, ladies man, but he's still in that gangster shit. But it's like he's like an all-in-one type of dude. Like he's the ladies man, but he could be a street dude, all in one. But he's smooth with it, smooth assassin. You know what I mean? Shout out to Granddaddy, how you? Just straight disrespect to AZ. Just saying like how he was talking about in the Dead President's interview video where you see Nas, AZ, Biggie. I think Smooth the Hustler was in that video too. You see Ty Ty and all those cats and Dame Dash playing. I think they're playing like Monopoly, and then he was just like mocking AZ, saying like, oh, like he didn't belong there, he just didn't fit in and stuff like that. Just like mad disrespectful. So that's AZ. Cormega took shots at Cormega. That shit really pissed me off because I'm a big Cormega fan. He was pretty much saying like how he was belligerent and like how he was arrogant and stuff like that. Like he was saying like how Cormega disrespected Steve Stoute because when he got out of jail in '95, he didn't go with Steve Stoute. He ended up signing with Chris Lighty. And, Chris Lighty and Steve Stoute, they kind of had a little static back in the day. So he felt like that, he stabbed him in the back. And that's one of the reasons why that Steve Stoute had kicked Cormega out of the group. So it wasn't Nas, and that's the thing. A lot of people think Nas has something to do with Cormega being kicked out of the group. It wasn't. It was Steve Stoute. And Cormega said in an interview, I think like I heard like a couple of years ago, was saying that how when he was making the Testament, Cormega wanted creative control, and Steve Stoute was like, nah, he wanted like the track masters to do all the production on his album, but Cormega was like, nah, I don't want track masters to do my beats, because the kind of beats that they do is like, kind of like, like the R&B influence type of hip hop, and he didn't want that. He wanted like, RZA, Havoc, RNS, cats like that on his album, and they couldn't see eye to eye, and then that's why he got kicked out of the group. And Steve Stoute being who he is, kind of got him blackballed from the industry because, Columbia Records and Def Jam are, pretty much go hand in hand. So he was pretty much blackballed from the industry, and that's why he made the album The Realness. Yeah, he made the album The Realness, pretty much going towards the industry, and it was kind of like a fuck you to everybody, all the people in the industry and stuff like that. So I love Cormega. I mean, he's dope. He's one of my favorite MCs of all time. Like, he has never put out anything whack. Like, I mean, The Realness, True Meaning. Even though True Meaning, when I first heard it, it took me a while to get used to, but it grew on me because it's a more mature album. I was so much of a fan of The Realness. I didn't give True Meaning a chance, but then listened to it a couple times. I love that album, pretty dope. I gotta get his book. the Legal Hustle compilation album that he came out in 2004. A lot of people think that's his album. It's a compilation album. Pretty dope joint. I gotta get my hands on that joint. Then he came out with the Who Am I documentary, which I have, pretty dope. It's a documentary and a soundtrack where it chronicles Cormega's time from like 2001 to 2005. Very dope. Then he came out with Born and Raised, very dope album, Mega Philosophy, and stuff like that. And how can I forget The Testament? I need to get my hands on that, but that shit goes for a lot of money online. That was the shelved album that he was supposed to drop in '98, but because of Steve Stoute, it got shelved and stuff like that. And yeah, man. So I love Cormega. And Cormega, he responded to Steve Stoute saying that he about Steve Stoute, what he said about Cormega, saying like, oh, he pretty much played a Benedict Arnold for him signing with Violator. But Cormega was saying like, yo, did he not know that I had an album deal with Marley Marl? Because from what I heard that he made an album with Marley Marl back in like 91, 92. I think he was in the midst of making it, or he already has an album in the vaults that Marley Marl did all the production. I would love to hear that. He needs to put that out. So expect him to be on Drink Champs talking about Steve Stoute. So then he talks about Mike Geronimo. He called Mike Geronimo a fake Nas. Mad disrespectful, dude. Yes, they have similar styles, but they're two different type of individuals, different styles. Very dope. I mean, I love Mike Geronimo. His first song, The Natural, very dope. Of course, Mike Geronimo responded on Instagram. It talks about that. And shout out to my dude Doggy Diamonds from Forbes DVD on Facebook. He was pretty much saying like, yo, I need to do an interview with Mike Geronimo discussing this matter. Just paraphrasing what he said. I would love to hear that because, Forbes DVD, Doggy Diamonds, he always keeps it real. No, like, raw, uncut, no filter at all. Shout out to him. So I know with him, he's able to let artists, spill, like, just to talk about certain things that they can't, like, other interviews couldn't do with that particular artist. So it would be nice to see Mike Geronimo come out and do that interview. He does Akinelli. He was just saying like how like he's just a dude that just does hooks. He's only good for hooks, but like his albums suck. Like, did he not hear a Vagina Diner? I mean, that's a classic album. I mean, some of Lost Professor's illest beats are on that album. But then, he's just mocking him, talking about, oh, that put in your mouth bullshit, and just straight disrespectful. And last but not least, talk shit about Big Daddy Kane. Talk about how after the first album, he fell off. You know what I'm saying? Like, after the first album, he fell off. So, it's a Big Daddy Kane album was whack? Is that what you're saying? Now, I can understand if he said on the third album, Taste of Chocolate, that came out in 1990, he fell off, which he did, but he was still Big Daddy Kane. He was still lyrical. The thing with Taste of Chocolate album was the fact that he went commercial. It is like he went too R&B-ish. He had that whack-ass song with Barry White. I forgot the name of it. I think it's called Because of Me or some shit like that. Horrendous. And at that time, Kane was going through a lot of shit at that time. Like, Biz Markie throwing the rumor out that he had AIDS and stuff like that. And he had to deal with that rumor and stuff like that. And it was just kind of crazy, man. But I'm glad that he recovered on the fourth album, Prince of Darkness, which to me was a lot better than the Taste of Chocolate. I think Taste of Chocolate has to be like his worst album. It does have some dope cuts to it, but it was like his weakest in his discography. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I just hope these guys respond back to Steve Stoute, because Steve Stoute, to me, he's the Bill O'Reilly of hip hop. He's like a mixture of Bill O'Reilly and Trump, because they talk a lot of shit. He's just very arrogant, and it's just like the way he carries himself, man. It's just this real cocky and arrogant. He has like the same mannerisms as Trump. Like, yeah, I'm pretty, man. Like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did this. Yeah, I'm proud of myself. Like, this just like very condescending, dude. Like, hate that nigga, man. Fuck Steve Stoute, Cormega, AZ, Mike Geronimo, Akinelli, Big Daddy Kane. I salute y'all. I love y'all. Queens get the money. Brooklyn never ran, never will. All day, man. Fuck Steve Stoute. I'm ashamed to consider him being part of Queens. Queens, I apologize for Steve Stoute. You know, he's a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Everything that I talk about, I'll put it down in the description box. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more videos, alright? Peace.